Well, hello again. We're back with the best loved poems of the American people. The book is still available I'm sure you can find it online anywhere, and it's still printed by Doubleday Publishers. They did an excellent job with this. I mean, just excellent. But that was back in 1936, and of course, the publishing world has changed a lot since then. But at least they haven't gotten rid of this book from their back catalog. It's awesome. I don't know how many poems it's got in it. Probably a couple of hundred. I ought to count those. Is what I ought to do, and then I'll know for certain. They cover everything from humor and whimsy to poems that tell a story to faith and reverence to patriotism and something else I forget. Uh, Dogs. There's a whole section on dogs, animals, stories, poems. Um, I need to just make a list of that too, of all the sections. However, uh, oh yeah, and love and friendship, because that's the one I'm reading from today. It's called A Woman's Question, and the world is getting back to, I say the world, hopefully the world is getting back to where they're understanding the importance of both the male and the female in the family unit and their role to each other, to their community, to their children, etc., and so forth. Uh, but starting back in the had to be the early 60s, maybe the late 60s when the whole public free love thing came into being, which I never did understand. I mean, I was a kid then, and I still didn't understand it as a kid. But it started, and it's a Marxist thing that they're trying to do. It's Marxist to get rid of the gender roles, the proper role of the man and the woman, that neither is greater than or less than the other. They each carry their weight in the keeping of society in a balanced foundation. And raising the next generation. And as we can see with all that's going on now, because I'm recording this in February of 2025, and Doge has, oh, this was so funny. Okay, Doge, which is the Department of Government Efficiency, and if you don't know, Doge was named by Elon Musk. And uh, President Donald Trump thought it was a great name, and so he kept it. Department of Government Efficiency. And as soon as President Trump was sworn in on January 20th, 2025, I mean, he hit the ground running, and so did Doge. And Doge has gone through and found a lot of stuff. All that reporting you can find somewhere else. But one thing that has been really funny is that the Democrats and rhinos in Congress are complaining about the misuse of funds, of taxpayer funds, and they are making an absolute uh, debacle. It's like a circus show watching them scream and holler and demand entry to the Department of Education, and we demand whatever, blah blah blah. What happens though is that with all of this balance that's going on, finding out where the money's being stolen and where it is being sent to, we are finding that everywhere it's being sent, they have destroyed the family unit. That is their goal, destroy the family unit. Men can be anything they want, a female, a child, an animal. I mean, furries, really? Furries? People believe they are animals. They prefer to be an animal and dress up as an animal. And it's all about sex, free love. That's still there, see? And then you've got um, various, and they started moving it down further and further and further. The younger and younger they could get a child to be a different gender than what they are. Puberty blockers, that's a destruction of the next generation and the generation after that. Gender reassignment surgery starting when they're children, 5, 6, 7 years old, that's wrong. An adult can choose that all they want, and more power to them. But I don't care how many times that you were born a male and you want to be a female, you will never be a mother. I don't care what your outside looks like, your inside say all day long, I am a man. Anyway, now that we're getting back to some semblance of normality, we're starting to understand that a lot of people don't know what the roles of a man and a woman are. And in this particular book, the best loved poems of the American people, you can see how worn out my copy is. Look at that, Doubleday. See how worn out my copy is? I've had it since 1979. How many years is that? You can count those years up on your own time. My daughter was such a young thing then. But this particular poem is called A Woman's Question. See, back in 1936, when this book was published, everybody knew what a woman was and knew what a man was. So this poem made sense. But now we're telling people, by me reading this, we're telling people, look, if you've fallen for the lie, and it's a Marxist lie, straight from Satan's mouth, if you're falling for the lie that you can be anything you want just by thinking, thinking does not make everything so, then you may be feeling lost right now because all the people that supported your thought process, they're being defunded, and you're looking for something. Well, let me just read this poem to you and tell you, as a woman, the questions you should be asking a man. So here we go. Do you know you have asked for the costliest thing ever made by the hand above? A woman's heart, and a woman's life, and a woman's wonderful love. Do you know you have asked for this priceless thing as a child might ask for a toy, demanding what others have died to win with the reckless dash of a boy? You have written my lesson of duty out. Manlike, you have questioned me. Now stand at the bar of my woman's soul until I shall question thee. You require your mutton shell be always hot, your socks and your shirt be whole. I require your heart to be true as God's stars, and as pure as his heaven your soul. You will require a cook for your mutton and beef. I require a far greater thing, a seamstress you're wanting for socks and shirts. I look for a man and a king for the beautiful realm called home, and a man that his maker, God, shall look upon as he did on the first and say, it is very good. I am fair and young, but the rose may fade from my soft young cheek one day. Will you love me then, mid the falling leaves, as you did 'mong the blossoms of May? Is your heart an ocean so strong and deep, I may launch my all on its tide? Or loving woman finds heaven or hell on the day she is made a bride? I require all things that are grand and true, all things that a man should be. If you give this all, I would stake my life to be all you demand of me. If you cannot be this, a laundress and cook you can hire and little to pay. But a woman's heart and a woman's life are not to be won that way. This was written by Lena Lathrop. Good job, Lena. Of course, she's dead now. I mean, this book was published in 1936, and it was already a favorite poem of the American people. And that's why this book is called The Best Loved Poems of the American People. They sent in their choices for poems that they loved to an editor that worked at the New York Times back when the New York Times was a proud paper, a fine paper, not a bought and paid for Marxist shill tool, as we have just found out from the United States Agency for International Development Payments. I hate to end this wonderful poem, on such a negative note, but at the same time, if you cannot be this, a laundress and cook you can hire and little to pay. But a woman's heart and a woman's life are not to be won that way. Thanks, Lena, for writing this. Lena Lathrop. She pegged it. And there you go. Be back for some more later. Okay, in the recording, yes.